Hello, good evening, viewers, and welcome to We the People Show, coming to you live from Vancouver in Canada. I'm Obidimako, your anchor, and today, like I already advertised, I'm going to be having a special guest to discuss issues concerning Igbo land and the OHANEZE leadership today. And the person is no other person than our revered and eminent personality in the person of the chairman of OHANEZE, Igbo. The Fidelis Ozichukwu. Let me bring him in as we start the program. The Fidelis Ozichukwu, you're welcome to We the People Show.
Thank you very much, Obi.
Yeah, okay. So, without wasting time, I know you are going to be very busy this period because you have the OHANEZE election coming up in 2 days, if I'm right. But then let's go straight to the meat of the matter. So, tell us, what has it just been? I mean, what has it been? Saddled with this responsibility of leading the Igbos, a very vibrant ethnic group with all the potentials they have. What has it been?
Well, it has been quite challenging. It has been a very busy period, but fortunately, we have men who are willing, able, and ready to face the challenges, to change the narrative, and move the Igbo nation forward.
Okay. Your tenure will appear to some people like a very transitional one, since you, like so many people say, you are trying to complete the tenure of Imo State, which we lost Ambassador Obiozo and then Chief Emmanuel Iwanyan while in that, executing that responsibility, and you're like the last lap of it now. Is there any intention of you, contesting the election, or is there any zoning arrangement of where it's going to?
I can assure you that I'm not contesting.
Okay.
The
Is there?
the position is being zoned and it rotates alphabetically. From Imo, it is moving to Rivers State. By Friday, we're going to hold elections in Enugu here, and a leader, a new president general, will emerge. He'll be sworn in that day, and that day will commence the beginning of the leadership of OHANEZE by an indigene of Rivers State.
Okay. There's been insinuations that Rivers people are having showing some cold feet in terms of coming up to assume this responsibility. In fact, a few days ago, we had a protest in Rivers State where some people were protesting that they are not Igbos and all of that. Are you getting very responsive, signal from Rivers State as regards assuming this position?
No, it's not only responsive, we're getting also from very responsible indigenes of Igbo nationality who are indigenes of Rivers State. So there is no fears that we are going to get the best from amongst them.
Okay. Before now, we've had few individuals from Rivers State who've been, raising the red flag or shouting foul, saying there could be some anointed, persons, or there could be some people who are not to be tolerated to assume leadership of another leadership from River State. Are there anointed persons, so to speak, or is it just open for
Well,
everybody?
these are products of fear. These are products of fear, anointed and not anointed, excluded and not excluded. All these things are imaginations. But I can assure you, nobody has been anointed, nobody has been excluded. Anyone who is ready, willing, and able should throw in the cap into the ring. It is for Rivers people and we want very eminent Rivers son or daughter to contest and win. It has nothing to do with us. Nobody is excluding anybody. So if you're ready, you come into the ring. Period.
Okay. Now let's go back to the potence of OHANEZE as an association. Some writer yesterday raised an issue. He said OHANEZE is no more potent in Igbo land, or no more relevant. So is that the case? Has OHANEZE been disconnected with the people in the southeast, or has the confidence of the people in OHANEZE been eroded?
How do you measure confidence?
Well, if people can massively participate or show some positive response to what the association is doing, then
How were they participating before? People just get up and say anything. Fortunately, you grew up here, you walked, and you know our people's attitude to things. Most presidents of OHANEZE in the past were produced through consensus. And the OHANEZE election is not a football match. It is something that emerges from the wards. Tomorrow next, they're organizing themselves, holding election from the wards. From the wards, they will elect people to go to the local governments. And from the local governments, they would now elect 10 people to go to the states to elect the state executive. Then whoever emerges on Thursday or Wednesday as the president of the state will now lead his team of 30 people to Enugu for the election of the national executive, including the president general. All these positions are already allotted based on tradition to states because the South believes in rotation and bundling. So these positions have been bundled and now moved from one state to the other, and people contest for them.
okay,
That is the way it is going to happen.
okay. So what do you make of the insinuation that Ohaneze has been hijacked by the governors? That's the insinuation from some quarters. They say Ohaneze is no more independent. They've been hijacked by the governors. The governors call the shots. They determine what happens in Ohaneze. Between Ohaneze and the governors, who should lead in terms of socio-cultural direction in Igbo land?
But I wonder, and I don't know what they mean by being hijacked. Hijacked from who? Who was holding it before? That the governors are, what are they hijacking it for? That it will add value to their governance? Or it will be a distraction to them? When there are things people say and you ignore. What are the governors hijacking Ohaneze for? That Ohaneze had money for which the governors are interested. I think the governors' participation is based on their interest and their commitment to the growth and development of the Igbo nation. And the responsible and responsive governors do everything they can to identify with Ohaneze. But I don't see what people mean by hijacking because I need to know hijack from who and when and for what reason.
Okay, so coming back home to the situation in Igbo land today, in Igbo land, majorly the southeast, the security situation that is very scary today. What is Ohanese's position, and more so, what action is Ohanese taking to see how we can make the southeast safe again?
Well, when we talk about security, you know that security is a collective responsibility.
Sure.
Yes, each governor is the chief executive and chief security officer of his state. But remember that we have commissioners of police who are not responsible to the governors, but are responsible to the president through the IGP. So but then how and when this state of insecurity, come into the southeast? Remember, in those days, every family takes care of its responsibility. The same thing with village and community. We have town unions, we have age grades. These people, take responsibility and make sure that if any person, stepped out of the line, they beat the person into the line. So what brought about insecurity, remember, initially was the herdsmen invasion, which of course people rallied around to ensure that they stopped. It was at that point also that the governors started relating with the communities to find how they can assist them in raising vigilantes to contain the invasion of the herdsmen. But after some time, well, you can't rule out the social economic conditions are part of the problems we have today. There is hunger, there's poverty, and of course, there's youth restiveness, and of course, coupled with adult delinquencies. So for us to attack this, there must be a holistic approach. It is not only going to be kinetic, but we also use non-kinetic approach where mothers will talk to their children, fathers will talk to their sons, and the community will talk to their people. And the way it is being done in the past, we go back to them. The governors were supposed to be facilitators and not providers. But today they are acting both as facilitators and providers because of our own negligence. So we must all come together and provide security for our people and for ourselves. That is what is being done now to get the OHANEZE, OHA, and EZE. When there was OHA, remember that Igbo the Igbos never had kings. So when there was OHA, they built schools, they built clinics, they built post offices, they awarded scholarships, they looked after their farms, and they made sure that there was security. But it got to a point where there was a complete disconnect. And we are trying to locate these things and see how best, everybody, we will achieve convergence and bring in the youths, bring in the women, bring in the men, bring in everybody to appreciate the fact that security is a collective thing. So
Okay.
that's what
That's
OHANEZE is meant to do, and I think that's what OHANEZE is doing.
interesting to hear that. Before Chief Iwanya was demise, he talked so much about Southeast economic development. In fact, there was an initiative he talked about Southeast economic development before the federal government approved the Southeast uh, economic I don't know the name, a commission or something like that. So now, is that vision still being pursued? And if it's being pursued, is there any effort to make a connection between the Southeast Development Commission and this noble idea that Chief Nwanyama talked about before his demise?
Before Iwanya talked about Southeast development, I wrote a memo in 2001, 2002, 2003. Initially, we started with SEDI, Southeast Development Initiative, to set the Southeast Development Council and the rest of it. Then the National Assembly got into it, came together, and then used that document, improved on it, and submitted it for Southeast Development Council. I have all the documents. But fortunately, the present administration had approved it. It had been passed into law, and it is now ready for implementation because the boards have been set up. I think they're doing recruitments now to ensure that there's a smooth takeoff of the commission.
Okay, so that's another good one, and we've just observed that the Ohaneze or the Igbos are the only socio-cultural organization, as per their leadership, that's not been able to have a tete-a-tete with the president. We've had the Arewa Consultative Forum, we've had the Niger Delta, and Middle Belt. They've all visited the president. And Ohaneze, this is close to 2 years that President Tinubu has been in saddle, and he's not been able to. I mean, he has not been able to interface with the Ohaneze leadership. Just a few days ago, the Ohaneze chairman in Enugu lamented their frustration, their inability to assess the president. I mean, uh, within your tenure, did you make any efforts? And if not, is there any plan to engage with the president to meet with him one on one? Or are there no issues that you think you need to have face to face discussion with the president about?
I think there are issues. We have the issue of Nnamdi Kanu to discuss his release, the courts having approved and acquitted him at the time, and we think that his detention, his continued detention, is somehow political. And we would want to engage Mr. President to see how best this can be resolved, getting guarantees that he will continue with what he's doing without any form of violence or insinuations to violence. Then we also talk about proper integration for the president to treat people of Southeast the way they deserve to be treated in terms of appointments. And more than anything else, to take people of Southeast into confidence. There's so much to be discussed. But even before then, the Southeast, like you know, is not lacking of anything. We also have to come together as a people to organize ourselves, talk to ourselves, and do the best that we are known for as hardworking people, as people who are focused, determined, resilient, and productive. These things have to be done while we are waiting on Mr. President to have time for us. He just came to Enugu on a visit and he's gone back. Their wife was in Nemo, and there are all sorts of interactions at various levels. But I'm sure whenever he has his time and call us, but whether he calls us now or not, for me, will not deter us from coming together as a people, like they are talking of Akuruno, and building up Igbo land. We have the people, we have the resources. All we need now is the leadership and the drive to achieve our purpose while we wait for the federal government to have a tete-a-tete, like you said, with us.
Okay. All right. So we gradually. I know you are busy, so I'm not gonna take so much of your time today. But there are some german issues that I also want us to look at. Now, moving ahead, as we expect a new leadership for the Ohaneze Association, what do you think should be the focus of a new leadership in Ohaneze? What what are the loopholes you've already discovered that you think needs to be worked on, and what should be their focus when they come in now?
One is to give our people first a sense of belonging, to have a register, get each Igbo man, every Igbo man to register as a member of OHANEZE, so that we know how many we are and where we are, and what values we can bring on board based on our experiences, our knowledge, and our know-how. Because all this put together will determine where we are going in terms of public safety and also well-being. When we have taken all this, then we think about the youths and the future. We have to be anticipatory and preemptive. What do we do with the youths? How do we reactivate our ailing economies? There's so much. I don't think there's anything we need from God He hasn't given us. We only have to wake up to all these things and maximize our talents to do our best. Then the other one we have talked about it is security. A hungry man is an angry man. You know, what do we do? The federal government, if you are driving from one state to the other in Imo State, you get about 100, 200 checkpoints. And these are points of extortion, not even security. Because in the midst, the more checkpoints you have, the more criminals and the more crimes that are being recorded. So these checkpoints is the responsibility of the president as the chief security officer of the nation to tell them to withdraw and have responsible checkpoints. Nobody is saying that they should all withdraw the checkpoints, no. But they should do it in such a way that will not put the people in danger. So we have to look at the checkpoints issue, and then extortions that are attendant to this. Everybody gets up and puts a checkpoint anywhere. And most of them that are doing the checkpoints are also the people who are promoting crime. So it is, we want responsible security officers to do responsible, protection for the people. We will appreciate that. The Igbo man is very hospitable, he's kind. He always welcomes people, but we have to do that in good conscience and with a very high sense of responsibility.
Okay.
Then, go ahead.
Go on, sir. Go on, finish up.
No, I've talked about integration.
Okay.
Getting the Igbo man have a feeling of involvement, of participation, a sense of belonging, not being profiled,
Okay.
and be allowed, to create an environment conducive for self-actualization, for self-validation, for growth and for development. And these are, of course, are factors that, critical factors that will aid in peace building and peacemaking. Because when other countries and other states and other tribes allow the Igbos to be what they are and give them, promote joint dynamic for evolution and peaceful coexistence, we have nothing to worry about. I think the Igbo man is capable to manage himself and to give to himself what he thinks is good for him.
Okay. So many people in Igbo land think there is a particular factor we've not been able to maximize or take advantage of its advantage, which is the diasporic nature of the Igbos. The belief that the Igbos, who are like scattered all over the world, present everywhere in the world, have not been properly mobilized and organized, to probably pool their resources for the development of Igbo land. How do you think such is possible? Can it be done? I mean, we have Igbos almost everywhere in the world, working so hard. Is there no way we can, get them organized to, mainstream development in Igbo land?
I think I should rather ask you that question because I was involved. We went through the US, went through Asia, went to Europe, was in Germany, where under President Obasanjo, we were inaugurating, if you remembered, various Igbo congresses and Igbo committees. But you also have to find out and, of course, research and realize that most of the places where we went and did this, no sooner had we left than they go to court and start fighting amongst themselves. So it is not that we don't realize the importance. When you talk about diaspora, it is us, the Igbos, that started the diaspora that everybody is now logging into. It was an Igbo invention and the Igbo initiative. But unfortunately, we lost out because of infighting, which deterred us from focus. But be that as it may, the diaspora people, remember, they have been doing these medical missions. They have been coming to help build community halls. They are now preaching the Akurolo thing. But it depends on the type and quality of leadership they have, whether they have the knowledge and the know-how, and also have community spirit that can help them organize and bring back home, the things I promised to. But I think a lot of them are doing well, but there's quite a lot also to be done, and everything rests on leadership.
Okay, because some people might argue that the initiative you did with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo would have been probably for Nigeria, collectively, but they are thinking the Igbos, specifically, could be mobilized, organized, and then put their resources back home for development of Igbo land. You know, if
No, when I talked about the Obasanjo thing, I was specific about the Igbo. First was we had the World Igbo Congresses. I was in Berlin for the Igbo Association, Igbo meetings, and the Igbo National Days, and the rest of them. I was in the UK. I'm not talking that. What I'm saying is that others copied from us about diaspora movement. We were the champions. The Igbos were the champions of the diaspora movement. And up till now, though there are sort of disconnect amongst them and a feeling because most of them are in court fighting one another. But in spite of that, they are doing well because every year you see them coming back on medical missions and adding value to what is available. So I'll praise them for that and then urge them also to try as much as possible to come together and achieve some degree of convergence and have a focus and timelines as to what they can achieve and what they can do. For OHANEZE, I'm sure that OHANEZE is willing, ready, and able to come in to assist them anytime, any day, anywhere.
okay, all right. So wrapping up the program, what will be your parting word for the Igbos in general as you conduct? I mean, the election is going to be in 2 days, and after that, you will be handing over. So, what will be your parting message to the Igbos? And do you expect to play any other role in, in the development of Igbo land? Beyond this particular position you're holding.
The promise I'm going to give you is that we are going to have a very peaceful convention. We are going to elect a person worthy of the name President General of the Igbo nation. From amongst the aspirants from Rivers State, anybody who tells you any other thing, well, you wait and see what will happen on Friday. We are going to vote a Rivers person worthy of the name. Then, like I said, very few places today. I think in the whole of Nigeria, there is no place, because I've asked, where there is a registrar of OHANEZE membership. So we're going to open up OHANEZE membership. The role that I'm going to play, whatever role it is going to be, will be dependent on the new administration that will come in. You know how much they appreciate. I didn't apply for this. I never bought any forms and the rest. The people got together and said, look, they invited me and said, please, this is what we want you to do. I said, okay, I cannot say no, I'm going to do it. I'm sure more opportunities will come. But for now, we want to focus on making sure that a new leadership of OHANEZE, led by a President General of Rivers State origin, of Igbo extraction, will take over the mantle from me on Friday, the 10th of January 2025.
Okay.
I'm sure we're going to do that.
All right. Finally, before I let you go, more on a personal note, we'll leave OHANEZE now. You were the Southeast chairman of the PDP, as at the time the PDP was in power, and the party was, the Southeast was a very stronghold of the PDP at that time, And presently, are you still in PDP? And what is your view of events happening in the party?
Well, I don't know whether you read the document, the memo I submitted to PDP on the 24th of March 2022.
I'm not aware.
What is happening to PDP today and in PDP is self-inflicted. Any discerning mind knew that this was going to happen. The moment the PDP decided to truncate the zoning and rotation arrangement, it was at that point that the PDP started to nosedive. And that problem cannot be solved until PDP exercises itself and try to live up to public expectation. We want the PDP. We told them that the betrayals and backstabbing will not help the party. They thought that they could do it without God. And they now saw that because they didn't do anything in good conscience, they didn't do anything with fear of God or respect for man. That's why the PDP is where it is today. And I can assure you it will continue to remain there until such a time it wakes up to exercise itself of the evils that surrounds it. I think it is doable. I think they can do it if they want. But the disintegration and the apathy that is you are experiencing there now is self-inflicted. They know what to do, and they have to rise up to the occasion and tell themselves the truth. The PDP, whoever is there today, needs to do some introspection. Look back and find out, how did we get there? I think people were just selfish, and because of that selfishness, the party now drifted into some sort of Titanic syndrome. And to get out of it, only God knows how and by who.
Okay, some politicians are touting the idea of merger, forming a new political party, as a politician you are, or I don't know if you're still in partisan politics anyway. But have you got wind of any of such development, or have you been invited to such formation?
No, don't deceive yourself as formations or no formations. You are talking of aggregates. You are talking of aggregates. It is binding them that will be the moment they go in with the same intentions of cheating, they will break into pieces. They will break into pieces. Yes, it's the selfishness that is keeping running away from your party and going to form another party. It's because of apparent infidelity in both those who left and those who are trying to build up something now. What is it that happened in their former parties that they were not responsible for? And what is it that is going to happen in the new party that will not be reflective of what they did to destroy the old one? We have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to tell ourselves the truth. We need some honesty and some sincerity of purpose. But the moment people come and said that unless it is me, nobody else, and they say, oh, let us go and form other parties, let us go and do this, let us go and do that. You see what APC is going through. You see, it is an aggregate. APC is there today because they are, President Tinubu said, it is my time. And he is doing everything as a person to make sure that nobody truncates his time. And those of them in the north then agreed that yes, it is time for it to go to the south. But those of them who said no, it is either here or never, are the people who are now running around trying to, what can they do? What can they achieve? We need some honesty. We must be sincere to ourselves. Nigeria is Nigeria. When we want to talk about Nigeria, there'll be no north, there'll be no south. There is just Nigeria. But when the north thinks that the south does not matter, and the south thinks that they can do without the north, Nigeria will go nowhere. So what is destroying Nigeria today is selfishness, leadership inertia. So we must tell people the truth that the leaders must come out and apologize to the people. And they must exercise amongst themselves the evils that they brought into the previous associations where they were. What do you think they're going to go to the new associations with? Unless we repentance, that, oh, they are repentant, and then they're going to be new people. Otherwise, the same result they achieved, the same destruction they visited on PDP and their parties, is the same destruction they are going to go over with. And those destructions will also hit them back. Because there was no reason for PDP to suffer what it suffered if selfishness had not taken the part of many people. So I don't pity them.
Okay.
I don't pity them, but the moment they start changing their character, their conduct, and their sense of partisan politics, yes, everybody will be dragged. Like terms correspond. Good things will drag good things. But to tell me that, oh, they are forming new things, they are bad people drawing bad people. And they will sink the way they sank the other places. So I have no fears, I have no sympathies. Yes, I've heard about it that they're going to form this and they're going to form that. But the issue is who? You have to find out why did the past one fail? And what is it that we can do now that will make this one survive or succeed?
Okay. Thank you so much, the Fidelis Ozichukwu, the President General of OHANEZE Igbo, for making our time to talk to us. And you've really shed light on so many issues. I believe my viewers would have they would have enriched their knowledge with all the issues you have, stated here today. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my dear.
We
God
wish
bless
you
you.
we wish you
I
a successful election and a good handover.
I can assure you, will make you proud.
Okay.
We are going to produce, yes, we are going to produce a president
Yeah.
of Igbo extraction in Rivers State
Beautiful.
who will build up the Igbo nation and make us proud.
Beautiful.
Like we said, yes, like we said, it's going to be political, but it wouldn't be partisan.
Okay.
It won't stop anybody. Yes, the organizer we are thinking about is the organizer that is going to be the umbrella
Okay.
of every people, no matter your religious indoctrination, no matter your political affiliation, no matter your qualifications, it will be a melting pot of Igbo values, and
Okay.
we'll all be proud of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So as you sign off, we would like you to greet us in the Igbo way, the way because Igbos are listening to you all over the world. Greet us. You are the number one Igbo man now, so greet us the way the Igbos greet themselves. Bikwe ndị Igbo, ndị Igbo n'ebe niile na-eke gị. So bikwe ndị Igbo.
Igbo kwenu,
Yeah.
Igbo kwenu,
Yeah.
Igbo rienu,
Yeah.
Igbo mụọnụ,
Yeah.
Igbo zụọnụ,
Yeah.
onye anwụ na m ibi efula.
Amen.
Daalụ nọ.
There we go. Emailer. Thank you so much,
Thank
the
you,
President
thank you,
General of
thank you, thank
Oranz.
you. Thank you.
Okay, dear viewer, that is where we are going to draw the curtain for today. We've been speaking with the Fidelis Ozichukwu, who is the President General of OHANEZE Ndibo, and you've heard all he said, and we're expecting that in 2 days' time, a new leadership, brand new leadership of OHANEZE Ndibo from River State is going to emerge and then begin to pioneer the affairs of this noble organization until we come sometime. Remember, tomorrow I'm going to come up with another program. I'm going to be having Dr. Sam Amadi. I'm going to be having Willie Amadi, Barrister Willie Amadi, and Chief Jackson Menazu. They are going to be also discussing issues concerning the Oranz and Igbo, the election, its potency, and all of that. So that's the continuation of our discussion tomorrow, same time. Until I come that time, I am your uncle, Obidima Ako, and I say, Kodera Emma, Onyobala, there wono.